2:47 a.m., Strait of Hormuz. A U.S. destroyer's radar lights up. Dozens of fast-moving contacts, closing in from multiple directions. What happens in the next 90 seconds could redefine naval warfare. This isn't speculation. It's a tactical breakdown based on publicly available U.S. and Iranian military doctrine. The kind of scenario naval strategists have been wargaming for years. The Strait of Hormuz, 21 miles wide at its narrowest point. 21 million barrels of oil pass through it every day, 1/5 of global petroleum supply. And Iran has spent 2 decades preparing for one thing: how to close it. But here's what most people miss. Iran doesn't fight like the U.S. Navy, no aircraft carriers, no billion-dollar destroyers. Instead, swarm doctrine, hundreds of small, fast attack boats, smart mines, one-way drones, coastal missile batteries, all designed to overwhelm a single high-value target. And in this scenario, that target is an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, one of the most advanced warships ever built. The question isn't whether Iran could launch this kind of attack. It's whether the U.S. Navy's integrated defense systems can handle it when everything hits at once. Let's walk through it, step by step. First, why the strait matters. If Iran ever successfully blockaded this waterway, oil prices would spike within hours. Global markets would panic. Europe, China, Japan, all dependent on this route. That's why the U.S. Fifth Fleet is permanently stationed in Bahrain. That's why Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has built an entire military strategy around denying access to this strait. Now here's the real issue. Scenario start, 2:47 a.m. A lone Arleigh Burke-class destroyer is on patrol. It's not alone in the broader sense. There's air support, satellite coverage, electronic warfare assets in the region. But on the water, it's isolated. That's when the radar operator sees it. Dozens of high-speed contacts, moving at 40+ knots, fanning out in a coordinated pattern. This is the IRGC's swarm attack. Small speedboats, Boghammer-class and P-8A-class, armed with rocket launchers, machine guns, and in some cases, explosives for ramming. The destroyer has 90 seconds before they're in rocket range. Now this changes everything. Here's what gives the U.S. Navy its edge. It doesn't fight blind. High above the clouds, a P-8A Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft is already tracking the Iranian fleet. This isn't just a plane, it's a flying command center. Using advanced radar and electro-optical sensors, it maps every vessel in the strait in real time. That data gets encrypted and transmitted instantly via Link 16, a NATO tactical data system that connects every U.S. platform in the region. The destroyer, the Poseidon, helicopters, nearby fighters, they all see the same tactical picture. So the captain knows exactly what's coming, and from where. But knowing isn't enough. 3:08 a.m., an MH-60R Seahawk helicopter, launched from the destroyer, moves into position. It's equipped with Hellfire missiles, laser-guided, pinpoint accurate. The crew identifies the command boat in the Iranian formation, the one coordinating the swarm. 2 Hellfires launched, direct hits. The lead boats explode. The formation loses its central coordination. But here's the problem. Iran's doctrine isn't built on a single attack vector. It's built on overwhelming complexity. Right as the Seahawk strikes, Iran launches hundreds of small drones from coastal sites. These aren't attack drones. They're decoys, cheap, slow, radar reflective, designed to flood the destroyer's Aegis radar system with false targets. Suddenly the radar shows 500+ contacts. Which are real? Which are decoys? At the same time, coastal rocket artillery fires into the water around the destroyer, not to hit it, but to create massive water plumes, a smokescreen made of seawater. This blinds infrared sensors and laser targeting systems. The destroyer is fighting in a fog. Let's pause here, because this is where most people misunderstand modern naval combat. It's not about who has the bigger gun. It's about who can process information faster. Iran's goal isn't to sink the destroyer with the first wave. It's to overload its decision-making, force the crew to react to so many threats at once that they make a mistake. Miss a real contact, waste ammunition on a decoy, hesitate. That's the swarm doctrine. And the U.S. response? It's not what you'd expect. 3:14 a.m. The destroyer activates its SLQ-32 electronic warfare system. This isn't jamming in the traditional sense. It's a focused electromagnetic attack. High-intensity radio frequency beams that overwhelm Iranian radar receivers and GPS signals. The effect is immediate. Drones start falling out of the sky. Speedboats lose their navigation systems. The Iranian formation, which was coordinated moments ago, starts to fracture. Boats collide. Communication breaks down. But Iran has one more card to play. 3:46 a.m. The Seahawk's radar picks up something new. Small metallic signatures just above the waterline. Smart mines. These aren't dumb explosives. They're anchored to the seabed, equipped with acoustic and magnetic sensors. They detonate when a large metal hull passes overhead. The destroyer is now facing a tactical dilemma. Stay still to avoid the mines. Become a sitting target for the remaining speedboats. Move to evade the boats. Risk hitting a mine. This is Iran's endgame. 4:04 a.m. The remaining speedboats accelerate. They're inside 2 kilometers now. Too close for missiles. This is where the destroyer's phalanx CIWS comes online. Close-in weapon system, nicknamed R2D2 by the crew. A 20mm Gatling cannon that fires 4,500 rounds per minute. Fully automated, radar-guided, designed to shred anything that gets too close. The night sky lights up. Tungsten rounds tear through the remaining boats. Within 90 seconds, the swarm is neutralized. But the U.S. doesn't stop at defense. 4:28 a.m. The Poseidon identifies the source of the attack. Coastal missile batteries hidden in caves on Keshem Island. Coordinates are transmitted to a pair of A-10 Thunderbolt IIs, Warthogs, operating from a forward base. These aircraft are slow, heavily armored, and built for precision strikes in contested environments. They fly low, under radar, using the terrain to mask their approach. 4:38 a.m. The A-10s release laser-guided bombs, direct hits on the cave entrances, secondary explosions. The bunkers collapse. Iran's reserve forces are buried under tons of rock. The blockade is over. Now let's zoom out. Because this scenario, hypothetical as it is, reveals something critical about modern geopolitics. The Strait of Hormuz is the world's most important oil choke point. If Iran ever successfully closed it, even for a week, oil prices could hit $150 per barrel. Global shipping insurance costs would skyrocket Europe, and Asia would face immediate energy shortages. That's why the U.S. maintains a permanent naval presence here. That's why Iran has spent billions developing asymmetric weapons. And that's why this scenario has been war-gamed hundreds of times. Here's the deeper lesson. Iran's swarm doctrine can work, but only under specific conditions. It requires surprise, overwhelming numbers, coordination across multiple domains, air, sea, electronic. A target that's isolated. In this scenario, the U.S. destroyer had something Iran didn't account for. Real-time intelligence from the Poseidon, integrated air support, advanced electronic warfare, layered defense systems. When all those systems work together, the swarm breaks. So what does this mean for the future? If tensions escalate further, Iran could shift to covert mine-laying, harder to detect, harder to respond to. The U.S. could deploy autonomous surface vessels to counter swarms without risking crewed ships. Both sides could invest in AI-driven battle management, because the side that processes information faster wins. This isn't about if these technologies will be used, it's about when. Here's the bottom line. The Strait of Hormuz is a 21-mile-wide flashpoint. Iran has built a military strategy around controlling it. The U.S. has built a defense strategy around keeping it open. And the next real test of these doctrines won't be hypothetical. If you want more breakdowns like this, geopolitics, military strategy, global economics, make sure you're subscribed. Drop a comment. Do you think Iran's swarm tactics could ever succeed? Or is the U.S. Navy's integrated system too advanced? Thanks for watching.